How do you feel like this is going to turn out at the end of the day without them having much of a defense that they can even hang their hat on? Is this just going to be a quick conviction and then appeal, and then we get to redo all of this again in a year or two?
This will be a really quick conviction, I believe. I mean, at this point, we have 5 confessions that were early on supposedly at the prison. Again, you know, screamed about it from the rooftops that prior to being convicted, immediately he was put in a state maximum security facility, 23 hours a day, behind, without any contact with anyone, supposedly eating papers and going crazy. And anybody who has ever looked at the photos of Richard Allen when he was arrested versus Richard Allen just a short time after that, being incarcerated like that, he had dropped, I don't know, I'm gonna guess 50 plus pounds. He looked emaciated, he looked sullen, he had aged 20 years. I mean, just looks horrible. And it apparently, at least according to his attorneys, kind of lost his mind. But they're saying that the confessions he made were to his mom and to his wife, and they were legitimate, and that since then he's made many more. I just can't imagine he's not going to be found guilty,
Hmm.
especially if they can't bring in his state of mind.
As was my next question. Can they bring that up? Can they bring up, hey, and by the way, he made these confessions after being locked away like a sewer rat for the last year or two behind these walls, not getting out. And how would you fare in that sort of a thing? You'd probably admit to shooting Kennedy if you needed to, if you thought it was going to get you out of where you were at.
I was thinking even more that his motivation wasn't to get him out, but more, Tony, that, maybe you're literally having mind games played with yourself.
Mhm.
Did I do this? Are you going crazy 23 hours a day in a teeny tiny cell, having been free your whole life,
Yeah.
not in trouble your whole life? Did he literally lose his mind? Um, I don't know. I could see how one could,
Yeah.
for heaven's sakes.
And if you're being
But
told over and over and over, "You did this, you're a horrible
yeah.
person," being taunted by the guards, yeah, if you're not in a good state of mind, I would imagine your brain could start, conjuring up ideas of, "Maybe I did do this."
Yeah, it's something. I think the thing for many people. Look, whether he's guilty or innocent, he just should be treated like he's a convicted murderer already, from the standpoint of the conditions he was in. The other thing about this trial, Tony, that talk about a juxtaposition, say compared to the Karen Reed trial, for those who watched that case. This this is the jurors will be completely sequestered. Now, this is at the far end of what's typically done in a trial. It's very rare that you sequester jurors because it's such a hardship on them. It makes them want to get a trial over with early. They don't want to. Right now this is scheduled for 5 weeks. Can you imagine, just okay, you're going to be in a hotel room for 5 weeks? Not only they are not allowed to have a television, they are not allowed to have any electronics of any kind or nature. They are completely shut off. So when you think about that, they're going to want to get this over with early.
It's almost like they're in
Um,
prison.
yeah, yeah, it's very unusual to sequester like this, and no cameras allowed in the courtroom, but it goes way beyond no cameras. No electronic devices, Tony, so no one can live tweet, as an example. So a reporter can't sit in there and say this
Yeah.
happened and that happened. We've seen live tweeting be so effective for understanding what's happening. Um, and so you're going to have reporters taking these copious notes and then coming out and using their notes to explain what happened, which, as you and I both know, that misses out on all the nuances
Yeah.
of what really is happening.
Why such secrecy? I mean, it just all then plays back into the conspiracy area of this whole case of, okay, well, you're not going to admit this stuff, you're not going to do that, and now we can't talk about it. You're It's just like they're doing everything they possibly can to kind of steer this the one direction they seem that they think that it should go, and that's not. that's not the role of a judge. This should be just getting to the truth, not let's steer it this way.
Well, and Tony, it may go one step further because possibly, and this is in the works, I don't know what the judge is going to rule, but that all exhibits, in other words, usually you put your exhibits up on some sort of, visual aid for the jury to see, for everyone to see that's in the courtroom. But they're talking about even denying that so that people watching other than the jurors and the person testifying and the judge and the lawyers, but these exhibits will be limited to just those individuals, so no one in the public will even be able to see exhibits that's what's on the table. We'll see what ends up happening.
That's not how we do trials in the United States. That's just not how that works. But it's amazing that a single judge can decide this is how we're going to do it because that's what I want to do. It really is. It shows the amount of control that one individual can have if they want to go rogue, and it sure feels like Judge Beverly is very much,
Well,
or Judge
Tony, I'm
Gall
not a
rather.
huge believer at all in cameras in the
Yeah,
courtroom on huge cases because I do think it becomes circus like.
yeah,
We've seen that to the nth degree in Reed.
yeah,
I kind of liked kind of how Caitlin Armstrong was done. She was accused of, and convicted of murdering a lover
yeah,
of her boyfriend. But in that trial, they did allow cameras for opening statements, closing statements, and for the verdict. And she certainly allowed people to be in the courtroom and live tweet and understand what was going on in the courtroom. I understand trying to cut down the circus mode of it all, but it still needs to be totally public. And geez, it doesn't seem to be playing out that way
no
here.
transparency. I don't think Gull believes in it. It will be very fascinating to see where this goes. Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.